What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Iron Chapel podcast for episode 3. Today's topic is nutrition, and I'm joined here. What do you want about it? I'm joined here by Ninja, Mario, and Ray as a special guest today. Ninja brought us an entire case of Rain Total Body Fuel.
Rainbow sherbet.
Rainbow sherbet
Sponsor
flavor.
us, please.
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 The stuff.
Because he wanted to review it on the show, so let's see. Are we going to get a flavor before we...
Quinn, you give us the review.
What's the review, guys? How's it taste?
Out of 10.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it tastes like rainbow sherbet ice cream, so...
Yeah.
I'll give it
That sounds like a good time.
7.5.
Yeah, it's not bad.
7.5.
7.5.
Whoa.
That's
sounds
kinda
like
low.
CrossFitting numbers. Isn't that what they...
What did we say? We weren't going to bring up CrossFit.
I'm sorry, they said 7.5. It reminds me.
I
That's
don't know if
something...
you had it, but the white gummy bear one is just...
Okay, the
That
white
one-
gummy bear is the best one.
So,
but...
yeah, this is number 2. It goes white gummy bear, then it has to go sherbet,
Uh-huh.
then it goes
I think
orange cream.
Orange cream is good.
Orange cream, and
And
then
then
after
the-
that is the peach fizz. Peach fizz is
I think
or
lemon.
the cotton candy.
The lemon.
The lemon
Lemon
drop
one's
one.
alright.
No,
yeah.
there's like a pink lemon. I forgot what it's called.
Really?
It's probably some kind of
No, it's
lemonade.
lemon HD.
Yeah.
What,
lemon
that's
is-
not pink lemon.
Oh, shoot. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're thinking of Bang, dude. That's
Yeah,
that's
oops. Sorry.
Lemon
Can't mix
sucks.
them up.
Lemon
You get
drop.
sued.
Bleep that out. No bang. No bang.
No bang, no bang. We don't
Well,
bang
yeah.
here. It's not Saturday, guys.
All right, so let's get started. Ninja brought in a whole page of notes again.
2 pages.
So,
The Declaration of Nutrition.
Ray, what's your Instagram you want to say for the microphone?
Follow me on Goku_strength.
Yeah, follow him on Instagram.
He's
Posts
reaching
a
his
lot of
sign
good
forward
stuff
soon.
on there. And you guys know fit_ninja7, right?
There's no underscore.
There's
It's
no underscore?
Fit Ninja 7.
I think it's the underscore
The
fit ninja 7.
It's something. You
Yeah.
Once you find Fit Ninja,
That-
you'll find me.
I've put it in on Instagram
I'll be,
like 12 times.
in the somewhere in the land in a little cottage with a bunch of animals.
What?
And a bunch of rain. That's where I am.
Keep saying bang.
With my wisdom. I almost said man. Shoot.
And Mario is Mo Training Fitness. That one's pretty easy, not complicated. So Ninja, what do you got, Ren? You got something for us to start with?
I was thinking just a question for all of you.
All
What
right.
is your idea of nutrition? What is nutrition for you?
All right, so I guess I'll start. Nutrition, obviously, is just what you eat, any supplements you put in your body, just basically anything you put in your body to fuel and keep your body moving every day.
Okay.
That's a simple idea.
All right, Mark.
Nutrition is just how well you can put fuel into yourself to drive your athletic goals and needs. From there, there's also the FIT principle. Take the silent E. It's also an enjoyment tool for what's called compliance.
Exactly. And
Think of nutrition as like a science experiment almost.
Oh, yeah.
In a way. So you gotta, take the nutrition, find out what meals work for you because everybody's different, and you're the science experiment. You use those, and you kind
You
of base
test
off
everything.
of. Yeah, exactly.
test everything.
Exactly.
Test how it works. Test how it doesn't work. See what are your tolerances, especially when it comes to caffeine.
You don't end up like me.
Yeah, I'm gonna start off everything like with the biggest thing in my whole life when it comes to nutrition is the acronym. We changed it just now. It's originally was CCB, but now it's CCW. You said?
I didn't say that.
I heard someone say that. Well, it's carbs, caffeine, and I don't know if we're allowed to say that last
Yeah,
word.
bleep out the last one.
Let's not say the last word, but you guys can think in your head, what does the W or what does the B mean? But
We're going to cut that out.
yeah, I actually got that acronym from a good podcast I've been listening to a lot. It's called HD Radio, pretty sure.
Who runs that?
Dr. Jordan Shallow. He's a great powerlifter. He runs it with his buddy. Fortunately, I don't remember his buddy's friend. Reason why I don't remember him, because he's a CrossFitter. I'm not going to say anything more. But I'm not going to, yeah. But he's a CrossFitter. But, they both talk a lot about different types of nutrition, different types of weightlifting things. So I would say go check him out. I'm pretty sure it's HD. Pretty sure that's what it's called. If not, I'll look it up for you guys.
Send me the link after. I'll put it in the description.
Yeah, I'll probably say the name wrong.
All right, sweet. So what Mario mentioned was the enjoyment factor of nutrition, and that brings me why we have Ray on the show today. Ray is always posting these protein recipes all the time, and they're awesome. I see a lot of them, like buffalo chicken. That's your favorite thing.
Yeah, I do love
buffalo.
I like spicy food.
Buffalo ranch chicken.
Yeah,
Buffalo ranch chicken.
I love
is
spicy
the way.
food. It's pretty good.
What do you usually like think about when you're making those recipes?
Well, shout out Greg Doucette because he's the one who inspired me.
yeah.
Like 2 years ago, I like found him on YouTube and all of those meals that I see. He's got some really good.
He's a funny guy.
And some meals are kind of just like basic, And I've just kind of like come up with like similar ideas, but like my own idea at the same time. So I'm not like exactly copying because even on TikTok too, like you see like a bunch of people on my feed like with low calorie meals and stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's cool because I made that. I just never posted it. So it's like, but my go-to actually recently is like the macro-friendly pizza. It's basically a lavash wrap, which is the whole entire thing is 120 calories.
Sweet.
And I toast that first always, just to kind of give it that consistency. I'm gonna pull it out, put the sauce on it, put any toppings you want. I typically put 99 ground turkey on it with taco seasoning.
Ground turkey.
Yeah, ground turkey. 8 ounces of it. 8 ounces of it. It's 120 calories per 4 ounces. So I use 2 servings of that, and that's over like 60 or 50 something calories or 50 something grams of protein. I do 2 slices of fat-free mozzarella and pizza sauce. I don't really count sauces because nobody really does that. Ever. Any sort of like.
That's a big.
I'd say probably
any sort of
I mean, it's like
an average person is not
so
gonna
like,
count it.
So like the average person won't count it.
A
but
psychopath will
like,
count it. Yeah.
I'll count it if it's like regular ranch or like any sort
definitely.
of regular kind of sauce. I'll count it.
Yeah,
but if
'cause
it's
that's
like
like
pizza sauce itself is just tomatoes, it's
Tomato.
already lower calorie. But like if you're using like ranch. Like, it's 120 calories for 2 tablespoons. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that is a lot.
That's what people don't understand. Like, when they're like, oh, I'm eating a salad, but you're putting
so much dressing,
300 to
all that
400
stuff
calories
in.
worth of ranch on it, and it's just completely ruined the meal.
Yeah.
So it's like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's flavor though.
So, yeah. but
then it becomes a cheat meal, but you're still eating grass. So.
Exactly.
Which
we don't eat grass. We don't eat
grass
grass around here. I've never eaten a salad in my life.
I don't think I have either.
Oh damn.
My other big one is recently that I kind of like came up with.
CrossFit.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, I remember the name. RXD Radio. Sorry that they were calling CrossFitters bad, but
sorry, it's a derogatory term here.
I'm actually
no hate, obviously. It's just a joke.
I'm actually in the process of trying to like create a cookbook for people that
I know you've been saying that for a little while now. That would be pretty
it takes a while because I'm trying to perfect it. You don't want it to be like like something basic.
Like Damon, like the
Damon the Fat.
Yeah.
It's hard. I'm also trying to create my own pre-workout as well.
It's hard.
I'll talk about that.
It's really hard. Reason why is because like you don't want to put misinformation out there.
Exactly.
So if you put misinformation, there'll be guys like Greg Doucette that will call you out.
Oh,
and
he
will call you out too.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is a lot of people even on Snapchat sometimes are like, dude, there's no way. I'm like, yeah, just measure out. I literally have a scale. I measure out
so
everything. And as like particular as it sounds, it's very important when you're trying to lose weight.
Yeah.
Because for me personally, like I've always been bigger. I was 260 in high school. The highest I've ever was. There you go.
I remember I'm 260 now.
And the lowest I've ever gone down to was 180. So
almost there.
So it's like, to me that's why like these meals are kind of cool and like, important to me because they're low calorie dense foods that keep you full for like literally the entire day. So I'm eating like 3 meals a day, but I'm full and I'm satisfied. I'm not over full and I'm not starving.
And you're making it enjoyable too.
Exactly. And like another quick meal that I've been on is I call it Waffle Mayhem, and it's so good. It's
I think I know what you're talking
about. The waffle sandwiches from like McDonald's and stuff.
Yeah.
Like Wawa too.
Kodiak cakes. I know they're not. I know they're not like completely macro friendly.
Who freaking cares if they're
but
macro
at that point, it's just like it's just more of like a satiating feeling for me because I'm not even gonna lie. Like there's plenty of times where I get cheat meals all the time. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
But recently, I've been on a grind. So, but it's 53 grams of Kodiak waffle mix. And I actually use like a small waffle maker, and for one serving that's 190 calories. So the two of it looks like it's a lot, but it's really not.
Yeah.
And then I do 1 whole egg and 1 egg white, so 2 eggs total.
Yeah.
Mix that up, salt, pepper, whatever you want. 2 slices of turkey bacon, sugar-free maple syrup is optional, and then you just assemble it. And
Assemble it.
Yeah.
it's just
it's
just like the best meal ever. If you're like ever like,
exactly,
I really want
exactly.
McDonald's.
Well, that goes into it. Why nutrition is a big thing to be sustainable. Like you have to have a sustainable diet that you can sustain. It's practical.
The E for enjoyment.
The E in enjoyment. Like you can't just have a diet like bodybuilders, for example, going to the diet of a bodybuilder. I'm not too aware of a diet of a bodybuilder because I'm not a bodybuilder, but they're really particular in certain things that they do. Like even the temperature of their food is a big thing for them.
Because it's huge. Because if you take something like I was watching the Elite FTS podcast. It was one of them in the last 6 weeks. They had a bodybuilder on, and he was like, "You can't be. The more precise you are, the less precise you actually are." One of the reasons that he said, he's like, someone in Dubai is going to have a different scale of oatmeal than someone in like somewhere where Brian Shaw is, like in Denver. The humidity is going to be different. The air altitude. It's like the more you try to be precise, the more it's going to go the other way.
Yeah.
Like just get a general. If you're Mr. Range of Motion, as you know, said
we'll be on the show soon.
Very soon. Yeah, he was like an average person is going to have 3 meals a day. There's 7 days in a week. That's 21 meals. If you have 17 meals that are on point and you have 5 meals that are off, you're still going to be getting closer to your goal. So,
but it's different when it comes to bodybuilding because those 5 meals cannot happen.
Yeah, you can really only have like 2 mess ups.
Not even.
Well, I mean, but you also have a bigger range of error, right? Because instead of 21 meals in a week, you're gonna have 6 times 7, which is good math. 30.
Bring out the calculator.
It's gonna be 42. 40 something, 42. Yeah, it's gonna be 42 meals.
Just
if you're off by,
something.
it's 42. If you're off by like 4, then that's 36 meals that you're on and 2 meals or 4 meals that you're off.
But
It's
when
like
it comes to like a bodybuilder, like from what I've known from the bodybuilders that I kind of studied, they're really like those 2 meals cannot happen. Like especially if they're in crunch time. Like
maybe in like the last 6 to 12 weeks. But I mean during their whole year because
during the whole year they cannot.
Because they're human. They have to have that enjoyment.
There's also a thing that's been going around like a diet idea with both bulking and cutting. Is the idea is like as you increase your food, like if you're eating 3,000 calories a day for a year, your body is going to acclimate to that and start burning more calories because your body just wants to be in constant homeostasis. It doesn't want to put on weight and doesn't want to take off weight like that. Yeah. So with that idea, you will gradually have to keep increasing your calories. So there's a diet idea that if you take like a weekly or bi-weekly, it's kind of like a cheat day where if you're trying to go up in weight, you'll just
like
eat much. But if you're gaining weight, you'll do the opposite. You'll eat not as much that day. If you're trying to lose weight, you'll eat more, and that just keeps your baseline caloric needs at a more stable level instead of following with your diet, so that it makes it more sustainable for the long run. And if you're cutting weight, that's basically cheat meals, so that makes it much more sustainable from the enjoyment idea too.
Pretty much all exact thing that you just said there is basically just a regular diet, but having that one day where you can enjoy
exactly.
Exactly. That's basically what that is.
But it's more like the scientific approach because
but it's not too scientific. It's more of a general.
Yeah,
that's more of a calorie counting. It's more of less. It's less of these particular foods, and that's more of like, all right, these are like particular calorie numbers.
Yeah,
that's what's different.
But the idea that like you can take those days to eat different from your diet to keep your caloric like baseline that you need at a better level for your needs is like something that's really being studied more
like
now. It's like a new idea actually.
But that's more of a very amateur style diet. It's more like that. A high level athlete is going to use what's already working and like already proven. This is for stuff like maybe like like a high school or D3 might
Yeah.
use for
But
like,
if you're
moving
thinking
athletes.
if you're thinking based on like athletics, most athletes are not like super critical on their
No.
body composition.
No,
because
no.
if you're an athlete, you typically want to have a good amount of muscle mass, but you also want to have fat because fat is energy.
Yeah.
So like any athlete knows that. Like if you're
it's also
super lean,
protection,
A
you're
lot of carbs,
exactly.
a lot
Yeah.
of heavy fats.
Yeah.
Like that's
Exactly.
all the linemen that you see. Like, how do you
Oh,
think
yeah.
they just put? Shout out to the linemen.
Keep fist bumping
Like,
every
how
time
do
you shot him.
Dude, like how do you think they are able to push so much weight and
Exactly.
just keep going? They're big boys. I was a big boy. I know. I know how it
Fist
feels.
bump again.
There is a
I
big
know how it feels. Like we would always eat what Bubba Coos every single day.
I'm almost there.
Bubba Coos every single day. High in calories, high in fats,
Yeah.
carbs. Whatever. That just
It's because
sustainable
you guys
energy.
use it. You guys use it a lot.
Exactly.
That's the
Yeah.
thing. Like, yes, that diet, like he said, it's not very really like it's like an amateur diet. Reason why is that it's obvious. The energy that you put out is the energy that you're gonna need to put back in your body.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's just an overall in everything of nutrition. That's what you need to focus on.
Yeah.
If you're exerting energy, you need to refuel. You need to re-add it back. But there's another side of nutrition, though.
Yep.
There are certain nutrients that you need for certain things in your body. Like that's the biggest thing when it comes to nutrition.
Yep.
That is somewhat overlooked. I feel like. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people want to think a lot about calories in, calories out, and yes,
Macronutrients.
macronutrients.
Yeah,
like,
that's the
micronutrients.
amateur. That's
yeah,
the
that's the amateur
level.
diet.
Mhm.
But now when we're talking about like more advanced science parts, we gotta understand what certain nutrients is needed for certain homeostasis actions that occurred in the
Yeah.
body. There's a lot of things that are overlooked that as a high ever athlete, and I feel like even high schoolers or even D3 athletes, they need to kind of have a slight
An idea of
understanding
that.
of that,
Yeah.
an idea of that.
Which is what they should teach.
More in high school.
More in high school.
More so like
Bring Stan Effort in there.
more so like
teach 'em.
sports wise, like
Yeah.
or even in class too, like in colleges, like I'm sure
Health
they,
class.
like rather than talking about like obviously like reproduction system, all that stuff, like whatever you learn about it, but like more so the fact that like nutrition is the number one most important thing in trying to lose weight, gain muscle mass, whatever,
And even living.
and in just living
Yeah.
in general. I mean, if you're eating Big Macs every day, you're gonna get fat. Like,
Yeah.
I
straight
mean-
up. you're gonna be fat.
Unless that's all
Unless-
you're eating in a day, but
unless,
that's
like, you're
not,
eating
so
it, like-
that's not the case
There,
for most people.
that's not really completely the case, though.
No, I'm saying
Not
like
all the time.
I'm
but
saying
for
like
the most part.
I'm saying like if you have unhealthy eating habits,
Yeah.
as far as like you're not eating healthy at all through the entire week, you are going to gain so much weight and so much body fat. It's unless you are genetically gifted
Yeah.
to a point where you're like,
Well, genetics plays a role, but
Of
doesn't
course.
have a big effect.
Right.
Right.
Fist bump on
Of
that
course.
one.
The reason why is
Yeah.
because if you were to eat, let's say, an average person would eat like a Big Mac. Like, let's say me. I eat a Big Mac for breakfast, lunch, dinner, 5 days out of the week.
right,
Doesn't mean I'm going to gain weight. Maybe I'll feel a little bloated. Maybe my internal processes is going to be kind of slowed down.
You
Depends
were
on
gonna-
what you're
you were-
burning.
But the
Yeah.
other thing is,
'Cause
like, you also have to look at where you're also getting it from, because
Yeah.
a European McDonald's is gonna be a lot healthier than American.
Yeah, of
So
course.
you also got to look at like what the ingredients
Especially
are. The ingredients in McDonald's like meal is gonna be
Yeah.
like 36 different ingredients for
Right.
one burger,
Yeah.
and that's. I don't know if you've noticed, but those 36 ingredients aren't supposed to be in something. Like
Yeah.
they're not supposed to be in beef. Like
No.
you are going to feel sick.
You don't even
Your
understand
hormones
what
are
they
gonna change.
Like, you
Yeah,
read
yeah,
them,
you
you're
have
like,
to-
what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're reading it and it looks like it's in Russian, then
Yeah, if it
Oh,
don't
again
eat
with the Russian.
If it
Ugh.
looks like a different language, then you should not be having. If you
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
up the word, not that if you have to look up the word, but most of the time, if you don't understand what it is, you shouldn't have it, or you
Yeah.
don't see
Yeah.
it on general food labels, you shouldn't have it.
yeah.
If it's not like fruit juice,
Yeah.
something like, or some kind of like extract from a food, if it's
Right.
like a chemical, obviously chemical name,
Yeah.
then that's something you don't want to be eating on a constant basis.
Well, you gotta be careful when you use the word chemicals, because even if you
Yeah,
say,
everything is a chemical.
yeah,
but like,
not even then. Like if you read something, oh, that's definitely a chemical. That could be an important chemical for your body, because your body
Yeah.
runs on chemicals too.
Mhm.
So you gotta understand. You gotta be careful. All right.
Yeah.
For example, this drink right
yeah,
here.
let's look
Yeah,
at
pause for 1 second. I like I said before, I haven't had an energy drink in like 6 weeks, 6.5 weeks. I'm shaking right now. Like I'm internally dying.
They're over here rubbing
See,
it in my face.
now Ninja,
Dude, I'm on your team, bro. I'm done with these because like right now, like
They do.
feeling it.
Natural caffeine does have a lot of good benefits for it, but like
natural like coffee and
this
tea.
isn't.
That's killing me.
Stuff with 300 milligrams of caffeine in one sitting and drinking those 7 days a week for 2 years straight is not good for you at all.
I stopped it. I'm out for.
Yeah,
this is the first one. I don't think I'm
okay.
coming back on it.
Sorry, I had a little thing in my throat. I had to
It's something I need to-
But
some
what Mike
CrossFit
was saying
exercises.
earlier, like some chemicals are good for you. I'm gonna take 2 examples right here. On here it says alpha-sulfame potassium, some kind of potassium. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's good or bad. But then also here's my other example, niacinamide, whatever that means. What do you think that is?
Where are you looking?
It's vitamin B3. So like that's a vitamin. It's just like reading.
Yes.
Sometimes reading those labels can be like a little
You're
deceiving.
Yeah, but you also gotta understand too, because like.
But it's just B3.
Yeah,
like,
you gotta be careful though when you just say, "Oh, it's just B3," because it's a crazy thing when it comes about nutrition. Like he said, it's a science.
Yeah.
Like you gotta be careful. Like it goes back into immunity as well. Like how nutrition helps your immune system.
Yep.
Certain chemicals can be said, "Oh, this is B3," and then you come out of nowhere and say, "Wait, this is B3, but a different type of B3,
Yeah.
different type of chemical that's affecting that certain compound
Or the
of that
amount.
B3, or the
So
amount
you
of
could be
that
having
B3."
too much.
Exactly. So
In
you gotta
moderation.
understand that as well.
I always say chemicals over calories.
Yeah, and the reason why
It's just funny. Like,
and the reason why I say immunity is because nutrition plays a big role in our immune system, because a lot of
100%.
processes that happens in our immune system, like fighting off bacteria, viruses, things like that, is affected by nutrition, because depending on what you eat can affect your cells and how they react to certain bacteria, viruses, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So when it comes to nutrition, we also have to see not only, all right, calories in, calories out, all right, what nutrients are needed in the body, but all right, what am I fueling my cells in order to fight off these bacteria and viruses and stuff like that. So you gotta understand that as well.
Yeah.
And it's a really big important thing that a lot of people say, "Oh, carbs are bad.
I
Carbs
know.
are bad," and
Don't even
that
get
ties
me
into that.
started.
Keto is like the worst thing in the
Oh!
world.
I'm gonna get back into that. There's
I
actually
don't care.
controversy.
I'm gonna controversy you. Okay.
So no, but going back into cells, then we're gonna go straight into that. Cells. What is the main fuel for cells?
Tell us.
What is it?
Fats.
No.
No.
I mean, yes, but
Carbs.
glucose.
Yeah.
Glucose in general.
Yeah.
Sugar.
Glycogen.
Yes.
So,
Which is a carb. And
which is
sugar.
carbs. Cancer. Mike Sanko and me talked about this other day, and I looked it up and I read it, and it's like, it made me open my eyes a little more, because when I was in anatomy, we learned about cells and how their functions. Cancer cells thrive on glucose, and since cancer cells are cells and they multiply quickly, they need a lot of glucose, and that's what they take in. So it's been proven, or not proven yet, it's still in the process, that certain ketogenic diets or a low glycogen diet can really have a positive impact on not only kind of helping cancer, I'm not going to say curing cancer because that's not true, but slowing down the effects.
Which
So
in turn can give you more time to treat it.
Exactly. And in terms means a ketogenic diet in some instance. Because the ketogenic diet, what is it? Low glycogen, low carbohydrates, higher protein, higher fat.
Yep.
So that means your body's not going to have too much glycogen or fuel for these cells to reproduce.
Yeah.
But that doesn't also have to take into account that your body also uses other stuff for glycogen as well.
So there's a lot to unfold there. So in keto, in American keto, it's
American keto
it's
sucks.
it's low carb,
It's almost
like
no carb.
almost extreme, like no carb.
And a lot of
I
people
understand-
go no carbs, but then they don't even count calories, which is
So I understand
that's a bigger issue than worrying about your carbs.
I understand the diet for someone that's either sedentary or inactive, right? A low carb. I mean, everyone should be, if they're not active or they don't need the carb count, they shouldn't have it because it's expenditure in sugar, glucose, and everything. But you should not be putting your body into ketoacidosis. That is unhealthy. To put yourself in a survival mode is unhealthy in all matters. The only survival mode that you could put yourself in, which is healthy because you can recover from it, is ATCPT. So something. It's the fight or flight mechanism.
ATPC or something like
Yeah,
that?
yeah. ATCP, whatever it is. What's it called? That's the only one that I know. Like, if you think about it, the only survival mode that you could put yourself in that you can recover from fast enough that won't ruin your hormones or your neurological system, right? Because it's something that you can come in and out of because it's a survival technique.
What do you mean by what type of survival technique? Like, let's say a bus coming towards you, that's when you're...
Yeah, so that's when ATCP comes in because that gives you your fight or flight because you either need to move or you need to fight the bus, and you're not getting to fight. You're not going to fight the bus. But afterwards, you're done. Your adrenaline drops back, everything comes back, and your hormones aren't affected. Yeah. If you're on ketoacidosis...
Your hormones do affect a little.
They're affected, but they're not as much as if you were in ketoacidosis. If you're in ketoacidosis for more than, let's say, a day or two, in a general modern day American diet, it's going to affect your hormones, and it's going to affect the way that you move. It's going to affect everything. It's going to affect your liver, the way that your metabolism runs. It's going to affect everything. So you need to have the carbs in there to have your body move efficiently, right? I understand a low-carb diet because that is just saying, all right, I'm not going to have an excessive amount of carbs, but you got to take the word excessive, right? They're having an amount of carbs that they can have to have a sustainable insulin, energy, and recovery.
I look at it as like, for like a general basic diet, if you're not really that active, or if you are and you're just trying to kind of like maintain your weight, I look at it as like a 40-40-20%. So 40% protein, 40% carb, 20% fat. If you're trying to lose body fat, personally for me, that's what's helped me a little bit more. A very average basic diet idea. It's not too low of carbs, and it's not too high of carbs. And the fats that I'm getting from are healthy fats, like avocados, nuts, stuff like that. Yeah,
because you get that from the protein.
Right, exactly. So, and then also with the ketosis thing, even intermittent fasting, those two are good short term, but not long term. And that's the problem with some people who go into intermittent fasting, including myself, which I'll explain, and ketosis. They're good short term, but long term, they're not good for you. They actually start to just like your body is just eventually just going to shut down. You're going to feel like absolute garbage.
I mean, that's the thing. That's actually not true. Reason why is that, like he said, our body wants constant homeostasis, no matter what's happening, what's going on.
I mean, more of like
extreme.
Your function like in a day is gonna be lower than it would be if you were like feeling
less
also like good energy, like
and
forcing yourself to. So I'll say, for example, for myself, I went from 260 to 180, and I discovered intermittent fasting. This is just like a generalization, so you guys understand what I'm trying to get at, because I'm not against anybody or anything like that. Intermittent fasting for me was the worst thing that I could have ever done in my life, because I'm not saying it's bad, but long term I did it for a whole year and a half, and I lost over 78 pounds in 4 months, which is a lot.
Good, jeez.
Which is a lot. Lost a lot of muscle. I lost a lot of body fat, lost a lot of weight. I looked good, but I didn't feel good. My brain, neurologically, was completely messed up, and my day-to-day function was just completely gone.
Yeah.
I literally I felt like I was a completely different person. And then I discovered, like, okay, you can't force yourself to not eat and force yourself to have lower carbs also at the same time. That's also what the issue was. I was eating high protein, very low carb, like, I want to say between 80 to 100 grams of carbs a day, which is terrible. Now I'm like 180 to like 2 something. Yeah. So like that's just like my generalization.
The thing with keto that makes it like kind of like attractive to a lot of people is because it brings visual results fast and with the scale
that's
too.
Everything. That's the eat part.
No, but the thing with keto specifically that I'm getting at is because when you cut out carbs in your body store water. So when you cut out carbs and you're
dry.
Yeah, exactly. You're dry. It will make all the water in your fat specifically and also in your muscles flush out of your body. So yeah, you'll look better. You'll be lighter because you're losing a few pounds of water weight. But that's not sustainable. If you are like, a lot of people will do keto and not track calories, which you can't fight.
Their blood is really highly affected.
It turns into thick,
exactly.
sludge.
Thick sludge.
And you can't fight the laws of thermodynamics. You can't fight the fact that calories in versus calories out determines your weight. Like if you're eating more calories than you're burning, you'll gain weight. if you're burning more
That's
calories.
true, but like
you can't fight that idea. That's the laws of thermodynamics.
I have a quick question for Ray. When you were done, what's it called, in intermittent fasting, ketoacidosis, or any extreme diet, the bounce back is insane. So you can lose 70 pounds, like you said.
Yeah.
In the first month, how much did you gain back?
Honestly, I sustained 180 for a solid 2 months, and then quarantine happened, and I got fat.
See, but like what he's trying to get at.
In most extreme diets,
and that's
you
the
bounce
thing.
back.
So, and that's the thing is like, I bounced back in a way to a point where like I kind of like came back to reality and was like, you know what, like it was just more of like a mental thing because I was always big, always. I've always wanted to like look good, lose weight, and I did. But then I discovered like I can do this, but with more food and you know and eat carbs and so like, you know, feel good. Yeah, like it was to a point where like even my testosterone was probably affected from it because there was days where I'm gonna keep it as friendly as possible, but you know, in the mornings it wasn't that great. You know what I mean? Like,
because you didn't have fuel for that process to go through.
Like, and that's not healthy.
That's all hormones that your body needs. Like. Your body needs these different types of nutrients in order for that process specific to affect. Yeah. Even muscle contraction is affected by what you eat. Like there's something called the sodium potassium pump, and it's within its name. Yeah. The sodium potassium pump is what allows muscle fibers to contract. Yeah. And there's other effects that affects the muscle contraction, but that's a big one though when you learn about different muscle fibers contraction. Right. The sodium potassium pump, if you have low sodium, obviously people say it's bad, but sodium is needed. Potassium, low potassium. A lot of people don't look at sodium, potassium really needed for that sodium potassium pump to
potassium deficiency.
Exactly. That's what I got. Exactly. And that's what I had. So big short story when I was when COVID happened, I got sick, severely sick, like COVID symptoms, and I did not get COVID. It was negative. Yeah. And you know what it was? Potassium deficiency. For a whole week, I was dead. And I was scared that I'm about to die. I have like COVID or something. I have like chicken pox, like E. coli. What the hell do I have? And then
you have the Ebola.
Like, is this really my end? Is this how I'm gonna die in my bed, like freaking sweating my ass off? No, it was just that my diet was lacking potassium. And then when I noticed it, I'm like, you know what? Let me track my calories. Let me see what I'm eating in my body. Let me see what's going on. And I've noticed that everything else was awesome. Right. Enough iron, enough nutrients, enough carbs, enough protein. Yeah. Just my potassium wasn't there. Right. I was having 1,000 milligrams. 1,000 milligrams a day. And even then, some days I will have lower than that. Yeah. And then after that, I'm like, you know what? Potassium is really needed. Not only for my health in general, so I don't die, but for my muscle contraction. Because in order for me to push in the gym properly, I needed that sodium potassium pump to be good.
That's also the other thing that I noticed. I was very stiff. Now, like looking back, I was super stiff, super dry. Like everything that I did was just not. Lethargic. It was just not okay. I was basically starving myself to a point, and that's why I like take a lot of pride in like the nutrition that I like know now and like the meals that I make now because they're so much more satisfying and like satiating for me. And I'm just like, wow, I wish I knew this before because this was like the first time I've like was ever losing weight. Yeah. It was right after high school. So I was going into college. Yeah. I'm like, you know, I'm trying to lose weight, and I did. I was like, wow, I look great, but I feel like garbage.
Yeah, but going back to what he was trying to say, that bounce back. Yeah. Your body is a constant, like I said before, it's a constant fight of trying to get to homeostasis. That's what it wants. It craves that. It craves it so much that it doesn't care what's going on in other parts of the body. Yeah. As long as that part feels good, you're fine, but then that part is going to want homeostasis, and then it's going to take that part. Yep. Everything is like a trickling. It trickles. Right, and what he's trying to say is that for your body, after all this different diets, like ketogenic, fasting, your body's going to try and bounce back to homeostasis. Of course. When it bounces back, it's going to hold on to whatever you give it.
Yeah. Because it was in the survival mode. Exactly. So it doesn't know if you're going to do that again. It doesn't know if you're stupid enough to go backwards. Because if it is, then it's going to be like, nah.
It's going to hold on. And that goes into, back to homeostasis.
Mike, you mind if I add something onto what you said earlier? So you said, what was that, the pump, whatever?
Sodium potassium pump.
Yeah, so that is an electrolyte, which is a type of carb. I'm not sure if they're considered carbs.
It's a protein.
They're
protein.
They're micronutrients.
Protein
and I actually
effective.
I did a research paper when I was in 8th grade, so I don't remember it that well, but I remember the basic idea. It was my science fair project, and I believe I won that year in the school, which was pretty cool. But I did that project, and a lot of people you'll hear are drinking like Body Armor and stuff like that, like electrolyte drinks. But they don't understand what electrolytes do. Do any of you guys know what electrolytes actually do in your body?
Exactly. Your hormones and cells, it needs that.
Yeah.
Not only for mechanisms that happen in the body, but for absorption of certain nutrients and proteins and absorption of water and liquids.
Exactly, yeah. And the biggest part that electrolytes play into is actually in your spinal fluid and in your brain.
Interstitial fluid.
And in your muscles, all that gets connected. Because if you have water is not electrical. Like if you
it doesn't have an electrical currency.
Water is an insulator by itself. But if you put an electrolyte in there, like salt or even soap is an electrolyte. So which is why people say don't.
Water.
Yeah, which is why people say don't bring electronics in the shower or in the bath because it's an electrolyte. So it can when you add an electrolyte when you add an electrolyte.
Oh, that's getting cut out real quick.
When you put electrolytes into water, it makes it from an insulator to a conductor. So that's the same thing that happens in your spinal fluid. Mm-hmm. When you have electrolytes in your spinal fluid, it lets the electrical impulses go from your brain to your muscles and to your organs.
All those synapses.
Exactly. But when you have too much or too little water electrolytes, it puts you all out of whack. So if you don't have enough electrolytes, like the one that you were mentioning, I can't ever remember the name of it.
Sodium potassium pump.
Yes.
I mean, no, there's a
never going to remember the name of that, but there's a ton of them that play into that. So that's just like one of them.
I'm not gonna, because I'm probably gonna get fact checked on this. Reason why is because
I'm here.
Not even that. It's a big upon about what I was saying. The sodium potassium is different than the sodium potassium pump. Like sodium potassium pump is an action that happens that's affected with sodium potassium. Yeah, so electrolytes plays a big role into that, but that specifically is not an electrolyte. I just gotta clarify that.
Yeah, but so that makes sense. But if you have like this is just back to what we said earlier. If you have too much electrolytes and not enough water, then there's too much electrolytes and like not enough actual fluid to move those electrolytes and to absorb them into your body where they need to be, because your electrolytes, just like anything, can get like stuck up anywhere in your body if there's not enough fluid. Like we said earlier, your blood, if you don't have enough water, your blood becomes thicker and it doesn't transport
nutrients. And if you don't have enough iron either.
Yeah, exactly.
Iron's a huge one.
Yeah.
And so if you have too much water and not enough electrolytes, the same opposite happens actually, where they move around too much and you just simply don't have enough electrolytes to make that fluid conductive.
That I understand that. Fluids in the body is a big contributor to everything. Like, it's funny, like nutrition.
Dehydrated.
Drink more water.
Wait, what?
Did you finish this?
You don't know that? He's a bodybuilder.
Your elasticity.
Yeah, because okay.
Dude,
I was like, wait,
what
are you talking about? And then I noticed that now.
I learned that in Boy Scouts when I was like
that's
5.
I always do that.
Yeah.
Anytime I'm like feeling weird, like dizzy, hazy, I'm always like,
oh
shit.
Buddy needs some agua instead of caffeine.
I'm too thick.
Open up that.
I cannot do that. Always hydrated. 260.
Big boy.
Chilling.
260.
That's funny.
Benching 4 or 5.
Dude, I wish.
Yeah.
Me too. Yo.
Soon.
I'm tempting 315. 315.
I can't even bench the bar.
Attempt.
Oh, no.
That's
wrong.
Me and the bench don't have a very good relationship.
You in the bench?
Since that last powerlifting competition a year ago.
Oh, okay.
Tore my pec.
Why'd you tear your back?
And I had surgery.
Didn't you do the competition with
You
that?
didn't choose to tear
Yeah, I did compete with it.
Why did you tear your back?
Yeah, what?
Why?
Speaking of injuries,
why'd you choose to tear your pec?
I don't know. It's just
I had the
stupid,
option.
bro.
I wish I did it.
You had an option. Just don't do it.
Speaking of injuries, I remember, what's it called? When you brought up football, and I forgot we played together. Do you remember the time that you barely tapped me? I went cold for the concussion.
That was very satisfying.
I know,
They
right?
always have to do it in front of the mic for some reason. These two.
we were running some plays, and I remember it was me and this other kid, and it was a pass play, correct?
Yeah, you guys barely didn't touch me.
We shuffle to the right, come back to the left, and then whatever defender is there.
Definitely understand what that is.
Yeah, me and Ninja are like, I don't know nothing about no football.
Boy over here.
Right, left. I know my right and my left. I don't know.
No football,
My boy over here,
stood up.
Let's just say he went for a little ride, and it was very scary because he landed on his neck, and he went out.
What's it called? But I got the concussion. So I got my concussion a week before. Our boy, what was his name? Who was the other kid?
No names.
Yeah. Cougar. His name's Cougar.
The cougar in the car.
Cougar. I know his name. I was faking it. So I knew his name. I know. I was faking
not
it.
allowed to put names here, but
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, Kruger.
Close enough.
What's it called? He pulls and he nails me head to head. Absolutely.
How big is this kid?
He's bigger than him.
He was 285.
He was 285.
285
and
versus
he was pissed at one of the coaches. So he pulls and he hits me head to head, and I just get stood up. I don't fall, but I take it right on the head. Right. The coach screams at him, and we run the same play again, and I have to take the hit again. This time I take it again, head to head. Boom. I play the rest of the week, so Thursday, Friday, because our games then were on Saturdays. So I practiced Thursday, Friday with a concussion. Then I went through the whole pregame thing on Saturday. I played a JV game on Monday with a full concussion. Played practice against you guys on Tuesday. And on Wednesday, by that time, my brain was like a fried egg.
I have a question for you.
Absolute fried egg. So we're at practice. We're about midway through. I go up to one of our coaches. I'm like, Coach, I feel like a dying right now. Yeah, I was like, Coach, I don't know where I am right now. And he was like, Nah, you gotta play. And I'm like, what the heck?
So he's like, I am equal to one of those blades in the grass. Just floating around with the breeze.
Yeah. So
that's
anyway,
why we don't eat grass, guys.
Yeah,
it don't matter.
So the coach is like, Nah, you gotta keep playing. And I was like, ugh. So one play, I'm like, yo, guys, go super light. And they were like, all right, cool. So Ray was like, we're gonna go light. We're gonna chill. I stand up and barely even put his hand on me like this, and I black out. I black out straight on the floor, right on my back. I scorpion up like friggin' wrestling.
Like his back was like literally like this. His feet touched the back of his head, and his like neck was snapped back. I was like, oh my god.
Dude, I legit landed on my back. I scorpioned up like wrestling. Like, a natural instinct was like, don't go on your back. So I like scorpioned up, came around, stood up, and then like fell over.
He like rolled over. I thought he was like having like a seizure or something.
Yeah. I got walked off. I got walked off and then carted to
That is called adrenaline.
Yeah.
Pushed through your body.
Yeah, that was
in order for you to wake the hell up.
That was survival mode. That was like, you're on your back and you're about to die. And I was like,
yeah, no, that's stuff like that is crazy. I remember Ray in hockey was always like one of those kids that would throw people.
He didn't even hit me hard.
But Ray
literally it was this.
So
I never hit.
So my question is, what was your nutrition to get through all that? Were you a lot of CCB?
It was
A lot of CCB?
lack of
Carbs, caffeine, and whatever the hell that eats?
A lot of that.
A lack of sodium, potassium.
Dude, I played a full Kruger concussion for a week and then barely got tapped and died.
No,
when we brought up football, I was like, I remember that. You were the person that kind of like put the straw in the camel's back and just.
No, but that kind of stuff is crazy because like me and Ray always played hockey. I think it was after you graduated. I think it was my junior year.
Yeah.
I knocked a kid out cold. He was coming down the ice and he had no clue I was following him. I was following him and just took a nice 45-degree angle on him. And the way I hit him, I guess my shoulder just hit his head. He went flying, slid down the ice, was doing like 360s. And just stopped and sat there for a second, and then he rolled over and was just looking around. His coach was over top
From
of
all
him.
the electrons.
When did you graduate? 1 or 2 years before us?
2019.
Graduated before he.
Our sophomore year.
Well, yeah. Oh, our sophomore.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're sophomore.
Yeah,
So because I remember I gave this. I feel so bad. It was like week 7, and we're playing against Point Barrow, and one of our wide receivers is holding up this guy. And he's holding him, and he tilts his head out. And I have an open lane. I don't have to hit this kid at all. But his head's there.
Clean him.
Clean cleaned him hard.
Yeah.
He was out cold. I felt
That's
so
the-
bad.
yeah.
We got so many flags. It was a 70-yard touchdown that got called back. Dude, I never felt this cool in my life. The crowd on the other side was like, you can't do that because of the flag. Dude, literally the next play, we run it straight down the middle and get another 70-yard touchdown. I was like, dude, that was the greatest moment of my life. But I looked up the kid. He didn't come back for the rest of the season. And he wasn't able to play his winter sport.
Jeez.
All right,
That's
so
terrible.
shout out to that kid that Mara just killed.
We
We don't know if you're alive still, but if you're alive, we apologize.
Yeah, dude.
And
If
you
don't
have
come
brain
near him
damage-
'cause
if
he'll
you
do
have
it
brain
again.
damage, don't sue Mario.
if you're lined up, you're taking it.
You're
to the
done.
chin.
You're
Yeah.
done. You're done.
That poor kid. I'm taking it, so it's like you gotta.
Oh yeah.
I have a question for all of you.
What's
Yeah.
up?
How do you guys feel about the fitness industry and nutrition?
Depends
on which aspect.
No, it depends on which
mean, like,
sport you're talking about.
I mean,
Well,
like,
that too.
I'm saying as far as like,
Well, okay.
in bodybuilding and even powerlifting.
Well,
Just
too.
mainstream, not like with
Well,
athletic
just like
specific, mainstream.
Well, there's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
nutrition for powerlifting.
No, I'm saying no. We just eat everything.
Let's
Yeah.
pick one particular sport.
I'll say not even so much
We're fueled
bodybuilding.
up and
Just,
we're good.
not even so much
Just
bodybuilding. Just
mainstream,
mainstream, like trying to lose weight, trying to like have a better
Gain
nutritional
muscle,
diet.
Which
yeah.
Like,
level are we talking about? I'm
Just
sorry.
how do you
we have to
feel?
we have to pick a
All right, so
I think- no,
you
no.
really need to be
Hold on.
specific.
You're asking a question,
I know.
and we're trying to answer. But just mainstream, like TikTok, like
Yeah,
Instagram,
TikTok,
like
Instagram,
YouTube,
like
like
how-
Garbage.
influencers.
How
Terrible.
misleading do you guys think they really?
I think a lot of it is,
A lot.
dude. Like we
It's called
announced,
money.
actually, the podcast that released today, we announced that the Iron Chapel is releasing a pre-workout, and my idea with it is lower caffeine because I hate caffeine.
Caffeine.
I'm doing like 200 milligrams of caffeine, basically just to fill the idea that people need caffeine.
Wow,
But
my heart is hurt.
honestly,
Dude,
might
I'm
release a
racing
version
right now.
without caffeine too.
Yeah.
Because like that's one of the things with nutrients that are like really overused in today's society is everyone's like, oh, I need my caffeine to get through the day. No, you don't. Caffeine. This is also a recent thing that has been going on. Is caffeine is actually a really big like.
Addictive drug.
It's a drug.
It actually is like it's not like chemically addicting. It's neurologic. It's one of those like marijuana is neurologically addicting. Like it doesn't give you like chemical needs for it like nicotine and other drugs like that. But it's like you feel the neurological need for it. Like alcohol is
and
like that
there's a reason,
too.
There's a reason why to that. So I'm going to go into a little science of what caffeine does to your body.
I feel it right now.
So caffeine, what it does. So
I
We
can
all
run
do.
through a wall right now and be fine.
yeah,
Ninja
so what it
earlier
does-
was like pointing some in his hand, is shaking like
Yeah,
this.
so the reason why he's feeling that way is because his body right now is producing adrenaline hormones right now due to the fact of increase of dopamine levels in his body.
I love it.
It's making him feel happy, excited. When you feel happy and excited, what comes into play in order to increase all things that's happening in your body? Adrenalines, hormones, make you feel jittery, make you feel active. But there's a little controversy when it comes to that because not only does that happen, but when people say, oh, I need caffeine so I don't feel tired, no matter how much caffeine you're getting, it's not that you're going to be energized too much. It's that your certain hormones are in your body that are
They're gonna be
receptors.
stimulized.
yeah.
No, not even stimulized, blocked.
Yeah.
Because there's certain receptors in your body that's called adenosine, and these adenosine receptors is blocked by caffeine in order for other receptors or connections to these receptors
Other chemicals.
instead other chemicals to not attach to those receptors to make you tired, because adenosine is what makes you tired or what increases sleepiness. Throughout your day or when you go to sleep, you have a certain amount of adenosine that's being taken out of your body, and a certain amount of adenosine is being created throughout your day. And when you drink caffeine, it blocks those receptors.
Yeah.
When blocking those receptors, you're also increasing dopamine, increasing adrenaline hormones, and making you feel like he's feeling right now. So the reason why this is such a drug is because all these chemical reactions are happening right now just for caffeine. Just because of caffeine, I mean.
Yeah.
And that's why he's generally
Yeah,
It's very
right now.
addicting.
Uh-huh.
And this feeling
Which
is
is why,
great because
and that's why you get a dependence on it
Yeah.
because you're blocking those receptors,
Yeah.
which makes you not be able to fall asleep at night,
yeah.
and then you
Or
don't
makes
get
you
enough.
fall asleep
and
better.
You get
no,
the
no,
crash
no.
feeling.
No, it
But that also
doesn't.
depends if you
Then
have
I
you
feel-
don't, then you
I feel so
don't
much
get
better.
ADHD.
Then, because you can't fall asleep at night, you don't get enough sleep, and then you're tired in the morning. What do? You have more caffeine.
Exactly.
And
Blocking
it's
more
just
of
a
these receptors.
circle every day.
I know.
You mentioned you said you were creating a pre-workout.
Yeah.
I'm actually doing that as well,
Yeah.
trying to at least. And instead of caffeine, it's going to be a non-stim because me and caffeine don't like
So
each
like
other.
a pump.
Yeah.
Talupa honey. I don't know
Okay.
if you guys ever heard of Talupa honey.
So what, like
It's
Larry
funny.
Wheel style?
No, it's it has a higher.
Whoa.
I'll read it because I'm still like studying.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got a high fructose to glucose ratio, and it allows the body to release energy contained in the sugar molecules over a longer period of time. And it significantly reduces the feeling of a crash.
Yeah.
So like when you drink this and you're
Yeah.
about to go to sleep, like you're just gonna feel so dead once it wears off.
So the gluten, that's specific.
So that, and then it's often associated with sucrose, which is also known as the white refined sugar. So
Yeah, that's another sugar.
it's they have so you can actually make a powdered version of honey. You just have to dehydrate it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like where
It
I'm
happens
going
when you
at
have
with
when you leave honey in your pantry forever, and
Yeah.
it's like
Hard.
and not only that, it's like
It's, like,
hot in
moves
there.
slow and,
It gets like crummy,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
the reason why it gets crummy is because of humidity.
It's drying
Yeah.
out.
It's
So-
drying out.
Yeah, so like that, you're talking about that. Larry Wheels was huge on it for like a year and a half, where
Yeah.
before called it PR honey. It was just a
That
thing
is
of honey.
a great name.
Yeah.
PR honey.
It's legit honey that he just stuck a label on, but every time that he would have it, he just shot it down, and it was like
Yeah.
a shot. So it'd be
It's
like
sugar.
Yeah. So, but another person that did this, but it was a different style, is Martin Lisi's. When he was going for his World's Strongest Man, he didn't take pre-workout. He took what's it called? He was able to have an amount of oranges. That was his thing. So the big meme on his side was oranges.
Right.
What's it called? He'd have like 4 oranges before training, 2 during. Like that was his source of vitamins, minerals, and energy,
Exactly.
Right.
sugar.
Exactly.
So people do that in wrestling. Like we had a wrestler who every time before a match he'd have an apple and a granola bar. Someone that does something close to that now is Eddie Hall. His pre-workout before a training session is cranberry juice with salt and water. His food is a granola bar, and his sugar is a candy bar, like just a straight dark chocolate candy bar.
So going back into that, what you were saying, I actually did something similar for wrestling season. I was a big believer during this time of wrestling season, this year actually. I'm properly fueling my body in order to perform, and I've seen great things happen. Because if you're fueled by to perform, you're gonna have great effects. So what I would do is something similar to that. I studied a lot on how different sodium affects your body, how different electrolytes affect your body, how sugar affects your body, how having a little bit of protein affects your body, and how having fat affects your body. So this is basically my diet for after weigh-ins. I will not have that bagel, because if I have that bagel and I've had past experience with this, I would feel dead. Yeah. Everyone else would be eating bagels. And I'm like, how do you do that?
Dude, I'm chilling.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I don't know how
lineman
you do
style,
that.
bro.
I
Lineman
don't know
style
how
is
you
eat
do
everything. The bagels just set off the sugars, so the sugar just expanded the stomach, and you're chilling.
But that's the thing for me. The bagel
Then you
just
get
made
more
me feel
hungry.
tired.
Right.
It could not perform whatsoever,
Right.
and that was hindering me. So what
Training
I
on a full
did
stomach.
is that not even then, like even eating too much affected. So what I would do is I would have my sugars or my carbohydrates, strawberries, peanut butter for my fat and protein. I would have strawberries and peanut butter pretty much every single time. After that, I would buy these little glucose gels, I would call them, or these like different energy gels, and I would just
Gatorade
have
gums?
that. No, they're the stinging one, the stinging bee.
They got to be more natural than Gatorade.
Yeah,
Nothing's worse
there's a
than
stinging.
Gatorade.
there's a company called Stinging Cracker. It's called Stinging.
Is it
But,
like honey?
Yeah, it's like honey.
Okay.
It's basically
Yeah.
honey,
Yeah.
but different type of honey. I would take that, and then my liquids for that time would be first a little bit of caffeine, obviously, because you need caffeine for that energy. On top of that, water with sodium, and then within that water, I will put cranberry juice. Within the cranberry juice, I'll also put a little electrolyte powder in there. Shake that up and drink that. I will also have Pedialyte as well, so more electrolytes.
Pedialyte's
After that, I will eat more food when it comes to strawberries, bananas, and fruit. After that, I have so much energy, sodium, blood flow throughout my body. I would even have a protein bar. I'll make sure the protein bar is full of iron so that my blood can utilize oxygen better.
Yep.
And that's something I'm going to get into in a little bit. But the iron in that protein bar and the potassium and the carbohydrates would just help me, and the protein would just help my muscles react better. I would eat all that, and it sounds like a lot. Like my body's just feeling like it's about to go through a wall right there. And then after that, we'll have my pre-workout. So that's just I'm about to kill someone. I kid you not. This rest of the season, I was just like fired up. There was like nothing to stop me. You can be the best person in the whole freaking wide world. I would find a way to outwork you with how much fuel I have in my body.
Yeah.
And that was my whole nutrition. And every athlete that cuts weight and has to refuel, I would say that is your best protocol to follow. It has everything you need and a little more. Some of the stuff I had was kind of pointless, but there were kind of some science stuff back to it. Like I didn't need to have all that cranberry juice, electrolyte. I didn't need to have that, but it helped.
I do like the road that we're going down. I think that would be a good thing to veer off into is kind of like what we would do prior to a game or a meet or whatever. Exactly. So if you guys want to start...
Before we get there, I have two things, which one kind of goes into that.
Okay.
So going back to Ray's pre-workout, I actually really like that idea because like my pre-workout is kind of like a more like general pre-workout, just with a different like blend of the same ingredients.
Right.
So like it still has the beta-alanine, L-citrulline. It has
for
a
the
bit of caffeine.
That's basically essentially what mine is going to be.
Just with the
Talupa honey and obviously like the flavoring will come along with it. They actually make Tupelo honey with different flavors too. So that can also be kind of like a...
So then yours also has like a caloric value as well. Like
exactly,
has carb.
yeah.
So that's awesome.
Yeah.
I actually like that idea.
Alright guys, before we continue.
You finished that already?
Yeah, before we continue.
You finished
Before we continue,
I'm shaking.
I'm like
let's just pray.
I've done
Let's
like
have a moment of
maybe
silence for the rain. Where's the camera?
Up there.
Right there.
and over there.
Moment of silence.
Sure. That's not... Okay.
It does it. Okay. Moment of silence for the caffeine and rain. Thank you, Lord. For
Right, screw the moment of
thank
silence.
you, Iron Chapel.
So my second thing that I was going to say is a story that I told you guys about before. It goes into pre-workout meals. So Ray was also iconic on the hockey team for the bus ride to games and practices. Would just have a pack of uncooked ramen.
Wait,
you
what?
Remember that? You remember that? That was so
bunched on
funny.
ramen.
Just put the seasoning on it and just start eating it.
When you...
Carbs.
Well, you just want all the carbs and salt.
There is
you just
there's no explaining yourself. You know exactly why you did that.
No, I love that, dude.
It's
straight
It's
carbs.
so funny because like now I remember it, but I didn't.
Yeah, exactly. I had Cooper
Was there
to remind me of that.
Was there a reason of you actually doing that,
like
or was it just was it sign based, or did you just do it because it was good?
No sign. It was more of like I really loved ramen.
I knew it.
I really loved ramen. Number one.
Yeah.
And number two, it was just honestly something really quick and like kind of
yeah. And that goes back into one big topic that I'm not going to explain right now because that's going to be a different topic for another podcast, hopefully. But those are like normalities. Like normalities that you do, like you
and
must have
convenient.
that. It's
I
convenient.
also used to do tuna and orange juice as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like Brian Shaw?
Yeah.
As disgusting
Straight
as
powder.
it sounds,
It's
you have to make it right. If you don't make it right, you're going
Tuna
to
and orange juice?
Yeah.
Wait, mixed into it?
Brian Shaw.
Like
He's
into
got
a shake.
videos
Into
on
Oh
it.
yeah, I heard Brian Shaw.
I think that was at his old house.
Yeah, that was
Like,
just cheap.
His old, really old videos.
Yeah. What's it
He
called?
made that.
There was a particular player. He did football and wrestling. Bigger guy. He graduated above us or above you.
I know what you're talking
What's it called? He would bring in not massive. He'd bring in a loaf of bread.
Yep.
A full bar, thing of peanut butter and jelly, and go through the entire thing. He just made peanut butter and
He
jelly.
made like
sandwich.
a triple decker sandwich every
quarter. Yeah, every quarter. Yeah. And then at halftime he'd have like two, and like
That's
for
awesome.
wrestling every time after weigh-ins he would go through an entire loaf of bread.
Yeah, it's just honestly, it's just like more like an energy thing.
He gave me
Yes.
multiple
like
concussions.
the more you feel your body.
Oh, this peanut butter jelly. They're like, hey, don't stop at this guy. This guy's God.
Dude, me as a freshman, I had to wrestle him for the entire
Oh,
season.
I know what you're talking about.
That
No
monster,
wonder he's that big.
Dude, I had probably multiple concussions that year. He put me through like the wall a couple times, and I was like, it hurt. But that guy, he was a great guy.
There you go. The Halo mix.
Agua.
Is that actually good?
I don't mind it.
What is it?
I mean, it's it's like the weird shaped one.
So it doesn't get clumpy on the bottom.
It actually works pretty well. Like
Really?
with protein, like I don't put a shaker ball in it. Sometimes I'll put a shaker ball in it if I'm doing like 2 scoops or something like that, because then it's just more
Always
powder.
2 scoops, never 1.
What's your guys' go-to protein powder?
Ooh.
ISO 100.
It
Or
all
the
depends.
GNC, either ISO 1,
Diamatized,
yeah, either diamatized or
So
the
good.
GNC
It just goes
brand
through
stuff.
clean.
The,
I have
the GNC stuff is like, it's like not as clean as ISO 100, because that's just the cleanest you can get pretty much, but it's still pretty good, and the flavors are incredible in the GNC stuff.
I have 2 big ones.
First form.
Diamatized and First Form.
Obviously, First Form.
Yeah.
First Form's a big one. I like First Form's other products, like their Ignition is really good. It's literally just vitamins and glycogen and glucose.
Is that
It's
the
really good. It's carbs.
Is that the intro workout one you showed me?
No,
Or is it
I
different?
would have. Me and Mario would have it like as a pre-workout. Pre-workout for us is basically
Is that
intro
well?
workout.
You showed me one that was like carbs and
It's
stuff like
that.
that.
Yeah,
that was
one.
it. Yeah.
I will have
So
that.
for me, I've been trying to do the same thing with caffeine as I am with protein powders. Just trying to stay away from that and go more like whole foods because those are
Yeah,
healthier.
I've been doing that
Yeah.
too.
No, that's
I
hard
haven't
though
had as
because
much
protein powders are not as unhealthy as these, so it's kind of harder to like just stay away from
It's
them.
kind of like, but going back into that, like protein powders. It's not saying that it's unhealthy. It's just like if
It's
you
like
can
Whole
have,
Foods are better.
Yeah, if you can have Whole Foods, like
more nutrients.
pick Whole Foods over a protein powder. If
That's
it's
like-
convenient for you,
if
it's
you can.
convenient. For me, especially as a college student, it's convenient.
Oh yeah.
It's more of like a you need to get your protein in almost type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you need protein.
Like throughout the day, like if you're busy, you're not really gonna have time to cook chicken, rice every day.
definitely.
Like unless you meal prep, but then it's not as good.
Still,
it's not as fresh.
you have a meal prep with the protein.
I'll do protein and then I'll throw oats in it too. So I got proteins, I got my carbs, and I'll just blend it up and then just drink it straight up. Put some glutamine in it, and that's really it.
I hate having oatmeal and protein.
It's hard. It's really hard. It's really hard.
If it doesn't like
It
come
becomes
out right,
I love it.
no, but
No,
it doesn't
no,
come out
no,
right though.
No.
You ever made bad? You ever made it bad? Like
I guess
time-
I'm not that bad.
You didn't like
Bro,
blend it.
I'm bad at making oatmeal and protein. I will make oatmeal protein, and it's like it's the most
No. You don't make oatmeal protein. You make protein with oatmeal.
same thing.
No.
They're just together.
The main
Huge
ingredient
difference.
is protein, and it's like oats added to it as opposed to
yeah.
just
So, like,
oatmeal.
So
Yeah.
I get what he's saying though, because I have 2 versions of that: in a shaker or in a bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Yeah,
one in the shaker is so
terrible.
much better.
So good.
Yeah, or just blend it up.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah, because
Something
in a
that-
bowl
so-
it's oatmeal just with
In the
protein.
bowl,
in it.
you have to cook it like
Yeah.
Something that I did when I
It's
was
disgusting.
in a tough time going to school, like it was just too early for me.
Yeah.
Something that you turned me on to was making oatmeal, throwing like half. What'd you say?
I do that a lot, buddy.
Wait, what'd you say?
You said whoa.
No.
Nah, it
It's
was.
alright. I do that a lot.
I caught that. I don't think
Yeah,
you caught it.
no.
I caught it. That's
No, I
what.
don't. I don't.
Wait,
I don't think
are you talking
called-
about something else?
Whatever.
Yeah,
No,
no, I don't
it's-
think you called what Mario said. It's
You'll see it
funny.
later.
Yeah, I'm catching it now. But
You say
let's
the
go.
T word, right? The T word. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I do that a lot.
Nah.
I can tell.
Oatmeal. It was oatmeal with half a scoop of.
Oh, you're turning red, bro.
So I'm just trying to get it out.
All right,
This is
continue. Get it
staying-
out.
this
Get
is
it
staying in the
out.
phone
Let it all
code.
out.
That's fine.
It was oatmeal, half a scoop of protein powder, and then 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. That was the
Yeah,
best.
yeah.
Because that is something so simple and so easy.
It's so
that you
simple.
Can throw and be fine with.
So what I started doing for breakfast is pretty much my breakfast every day, like exactly that, but without the protein because I have a lot of protein sometimes. So I'm like, I don't really need a lot of protein.
Oh, well.
I don't really need a lot of protein. So what I've been doing every morning is I cut out the protein and I basically do. I don't know if you guys know what muesli is, but muesli is like a mixture of different grains. Like we have buckwheat, quinoa, some other types of
Like
grains.
chia seeds and
Yeah, like
stuff?
chia seeds, and then I will put a packet of the pre-made Kodiak oatmeal, and that Kodiak oatmeal has protein in it.
Yeah.
It's good. I don't care if you say or
No,
people say that
I
it's
love
bad.
it, dude.
Yeah,
I
love
love
it.
the
I love the
stuff.
It's
Kodiak
so
brand,
convenient.
yeah.
The oatmeal, you put it in there, boom. You add a half a scoop of regular oats, half a scoop of the muesli. You mix it up, a little bit of vanilla, and a little bit of oatmeal creamer. I put in there sometimes. Water in the oven. Blueberries done.
Yeah.
That's my breakfast. I feel good for the rest of the day.
You gotta send me that recipe because I've been having eggs and potatoes for the past year and
Well,
a
that's
half.
such a good meal, but
It
it's
is a good
boring.
meal, but dude, I am so sick of
Did you add
freaking
steak
eggs.
with that?
I had a steak yesterday actually because I
There you
just cut out the eggs.
Yeah, buddy.
I was like, I'll do
Buddy.
steak and eggs, but then I'm
Yeah,
like, no,
yeah.
I don't
Well,
want eggs.
Let's not get into meat yet because there's gonna be a little fight in a little bit about meat.
I don't eat red meat.
Really?
Clown. Dude, Stan
Red
everything
meat.
is...
All right, let's go back. Let's change.
Hold on. I understand that because a lot of
I
your,
had a feeling.
a lot
I'm
of your-
sorry, but I had a feeling.
I did.
A lot of your
Somebody was
meals you
gonna say
do
that.
Someone's
like
gonna say it.
a lot of your meals you do like ground chicken and ground turkey.
ground
It's so
chicken.
much leaner than beef.
Yeah.
It
Where do
is.
you get your iron from?
Where do I get my iron from?
Yeah.
From my vitamins that I take.
There you go.
How much
It's
iron
not,
is in the
it's not a
vitamins?
vitamin, though.
What?
Iron's not a
I'm
vitamin.
saying that it's in the.
It's a micronutrient.
It's
Yeah, okay.
I don't
Either way.
have a
It's just-
specific vitamin for iron.
Okay.
It's just a mix, like a blend.
Yeah, it's not that I don't take vitamins or anything
Right.
like that. Like that's where I get it from.
Yeah.
I just don't really find for me personally, my body doesn't really digest red meat that well, and I don't
Okay.
feel that good when I eat it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like,
that's understandable.
I can
Okay,
eat it. It's
that's
not like
different.
I won't eat it. Like
Yeah.
if I'm having a cheat meal and I want a steak, I'll eat a steak.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I don't include any sort of red meats because they're higher in fats. I don't unless you get 93.7 ground turkey or ground beef, which is fine. But I just don't typically. I just like the taste better, honestly, with ground turkey, ground chicken.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's
Okay,
something that Brian Shaw in a video a couple years ago talked about changing in his diet, and he went from a diet I think in 2016
I
when
think it
he
was
was
bison, right?
when he was
Was it bison?
yeah
Ooh.
he does a lot of bison, but
Yeah.
specifically a couple years ago he did when he was winning the world's strongest man. He was eating a lot of fruits, vegetables, and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Getting
but,
a lot of you were saying earlier, micronutrients,
Yeah, but the
but
red
also
meat
had a
thing
lot
as
of
well.
beef in it because
Yeah,
he always eats a lot of beef. But then after that, he went to a full majority red meat diet, not as much carbs,
Alright,
not as much
let's-
other stuff. And then came back to that old diet with a lot more fruits and vegetables, and it's much better.
Yeah, it's more of like a periodic thing that I'll do.
Yeah.
But then I'll literally go right back.
Yeah. All right. So
Yeah.
go
Just
debugging.
itching to say something.
Yeah, I'm itching. So we all understand that I'm not gonna bash vegans or vegetarians. I'm not gonna do that because that's
fine,
your
yeah.
diet. That's how you feel.
Yeah.
You do what you feel.
Yeah.
But you can't not say that meat has a big effect on your body, especially when it comes to lipids and the cholesterol.
You're literally made of meat.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't really. There's no correlation with that, but there you go.
That was not a
But the
good
thing is,
argument,
if
but
you're-
sure.
That's the thing.
Fudge.
If you're eating foods that are close to what your body for muscular, if you're trying to build muscle, the best thing you can do is eat muscles. Eating beef and chicken and stuff like that. You're getting the nutrients because you're taking that nutrients directly from the same source that you're putting it into.
That's kind of.
But you all obviously
That's
but obviously you need other nutrients like vegetables and stuff like that.
That makes sense. I'm just gonna clarify that. That's not entirely true. Reason why, you can get the same amount of nutrients that you get from meat and chicken in other foods. Yes. So you can't say that just because it's a similar
muscle.
Yeah.
that muscle to muscle you're gonna gain muscle because it all depends on what's in that food.
It just
what
makes it
nutrients.
easier on your body. You can use soy and vegan protein and stuff like that.
But that's what I'm trying to say is that argument that you're saying that if you eat things that are similar than your body, you're gonna increase
not a
your
great
body's
argument or
body composition.
Yeah.
It's not a great argument. The reason why I'm saying that is I don't want controversy on that because that's
an idea.
It's an idea. It makes sense.
It could make sense.
But it could be saying that let me just go eat Mario because he's the same thing I'm made out of.
It's one of those I guess it's one of those ideas that are
It's
open to research kind of thing.
I don't think it is.
I've heard it I've heard it from a few people on
I don't know. There's no correlation when you think about science. It's
Footsie's over here.
they're the same.
Too big for this.
No matter the structure, both things are same structure does not equal an increase of that specific
it's
structure.
not. It's very Neanderthal. That kind of
it's
idea. It's very straight to the point.
They were
but
massive.
Huh? Jacked.
True.
Well, yeah.
You're trying to debunk something. Don't
I know. But if we're thinking about it, red meat, what's it called? Red meat, stand everything is huge on all the sciences on it.
Right, yes.
He's
You were saying
debunked
that
it.
earlier.
Yeah, dude, he's debunked it. Red meat is fine for you. And it's actually something that you basically need. So it's not something that people can go against now because they're like, oh, the research isn't there. No, it's there.
It
You just
is
don't
there.
want to
literally
look.
make a Big Mac bowl.
Yeah,
But I just typically
big-
don't eat red meat. I just don't know what it is. I don't like it. When I eat it, I don't digest it properly.
Yeah, like if it doesn't digest in your body well, then it's simple.
Yeah,
It's
just
pointless.
don't
I
eat it,
take
and you take the supplements to fill in for it too.
yeah,
like
I
the
take like
micronutrients.
glutamine. I take another like digestion like pill because I can't burp, so that like kind of like settles my stomach after like I eat meals and stuff. So it's kind of like one of those things.
So
You put the thing in my drink?
Yeah.
Well, I thought so, but I thought so, but then you
I
put
thought
the
it was
other
empty.
half in there.
Oh, I thought it was empty.
Wow.
No,
If I
no.
catch it on the video, I'll circle it.
My bad, bro.
No, I thought I saw it, but I was too focused on this way, and then I saw him pick up the little piece and throw it in there. So I'm like, oh,
I did
put
it
in
this
there.
one. 'cause I
So-
knew
Yeah,
it's kind of
we might have to do 2 episodes of nutrition and like
We
cut it
definitely
down.
can because we're pretty far in, so we'll
but-
finish up our thoughts and then.
I'm gonna say overall, hopping onto the red meat, the iron is very important. I was gonna say this
100%.
at first. A lot of nutrients are overlooked. Not completely overlooked because in the American diet you have a lot of sodium.
Right.
That's something that you have
Yeah.
high of, but in general, anything you have too much is bad for you.
Yeah.
So you have to be moderate.
Right.
But overall, big stuff that is overlooked is potassium, iron, sodium, all of that, those 3 things. And there's more out there. There's a lot more that are really overlooked in your diet. When it comes to like my specific diet, you need to be very specific on certain nutrients. That's just me. I'm a big on micro and macronutrients. I must have everything I need. That's why I eat 2 bananas a day.
Yeah.
Like I have to eat 2 bananas a day because my potassium needs to be there. But hopping back into iron, iron is super important for many reasons. One big reason, oxygen.
Yeah, so you don't
Oh,
pass
yeah.
out.
Oxygen is
Yeah.
a big reason.
Yeah.
Your blood is full of red blood cells. Everyone knows that. Within your blood cells are called hemoglobin. And within the hemoglobins, that's just basically oxygen chains. So hemoglobin contains 4 oxygen chains to be exact. And in the middle is iron. And that connects and binds those oxygen chains to create a hemoglobin to create the red blood cells. And the red blood cells, there's millions of there's a lot of red blood cells and a lot of hemoglobin in a blood cell and a lot of oxygen in the blood.
Yeah.
So when you have low iron, like we said before, it creates like clump in your blood.
Yeah.
You need that iron. Like that iron is what's going to help transport oxygen. And then when you go to work out, you need oxygen to flow throughout your body in order to perform at your optimal ability. If you have less iron, or if you don't eat red meat, I'm not going to say exact amount of red meat that you need in your diet because it varies on different person. But if you don't intake certain amount of red meat or something with iron, enough iron in your system, you're really lacking a lot of gains on the table, to keep it simple.
Yeah.
You're lacking gains on the table because you need that oxygen that is binded by iron in order to transfer to your body to increase blood flow.
And that's just overall health.
And that's overall
That doesn't
health
even
right
have
there.
to do with your. I mean, obviously it has to do with your goals, but that's
Yeah,
just
but I'm
overall
putting
health.
it to your goals because
Yeah.
this is what our podcast is
for the
about.
most part,
fitness.
yeah. Right.
So when fitness, it's so important.
Absolutely.
Especially if you want to perform your optimal ability.
Definitely.
So that's why I would never say do not eat red meat. I will actually say have at least, like you say, occasionally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like to say
I actually-
every other night or every other day.
See,
I
that's
actually-
the thing that's kind of dangerous to say because
Yeah.
It depends
It's a
on
general.
the person.
It's a
Yeah.
general.
Something
output,
you
though.
have not. Something neither of you have said yet today. It depends. Neither
I-
of you
you
have
should
said
have
that.
been trying.
You should have waited. It's gonna
I was
happen.
thinking about it for the past like 5 minutes.
Damn.
And neither of you guys.
No,
said it.
I've been thinking of it, but like
I
every
agree.
time that I'm gonna say it, everyone else, not everyone else talks like over, but it's like there's no reason to say it.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say at the end, like everything that we're talking about, it depends.
Yeah,
I
it
was
all
going to say
depends
that.
on it, but-
I wanted to cut out with that, but we said it already. It all depends. Nutrition is a big spectrum.
One thing I was
Yeah.
just thinking, it depends even like person to person, genetic to genetic, but it also depends on goal and sport. The big one is sports. Like a lineman is going to have a different diet than a safety, and it's like they're going to have different needs of different types of meats and different
more
types
like
of
leaner
vegetables.
meats to stay as lean as they are, so they can be able to move.
And that's something we talked about with training too in the first podcast, I believe. Yeah.
I did do a lot of red meat when I was competing though, because I knew I was going to be squatting, deadlifting a lot of weight, so I needed to make sure that my oxygen was going to help me out when I was breathing.
Well, I'm gonna put
didn't you place pretty well in that competition that you did in Nashville or something?
I placed second in my class.
Awesome. That's great.
Well, I'm going to put it out there. I was a vegan, I was a vegetarian, and I was a pescatarian. And the reason why
I've been through it
all the Tarians. There's a reason why. It was just because my family at the time was big on that because of some medical reasons. And yes, I'm not going to say if you're being told by your doctor and your healthcare provider to please try and stay away from meat, don't stay away.
Yeah, don't ignore your doctor.
Just don't ignore them for us meatheads.
Yeah.
But going back to that, the reason why I changed is that I've seen big defects on not having that meat, that protein, that consistency of protein, because eating vegan-based foods and vegetarian-based foods is hard to get enough protein and enough nutrients, especially. So changing that, it was a big dramatic thing in my diet. Or even becoming a flexitarian for some time. And what a flexitarian is that you have meat occasionally, but you mostly stick to a most vegetarian-based.
Didn't I tell you that? Right.
I don't know. You probably maybe.
I think it was sophomore year where I was like,
probably.
You need other meats because you were eating
fish.
You were only eating fish, and I'm like, well, you need
and then
zinc and
I'm gonna tell you the
iodines.
truth, the mercury in the fish wasn't too happy for me. But going back to that, I've lived that aspect in my life, and there's certain things that if you want to do it, you can do it, but you got to be careful.
Yeah.
Don't deprive your body from nutrients that it really needs.
Definitely.
You need to give it what it needs, and that's a big thing in my diet. I run a different diet than most people. My aunt, she's a nutritionist. I learned a lot of my nutrition-based background is because of her, but I debunked a lot of what she said. For example, there's a rule by, I forgot his name, Mr. Fake Weights. I think I'm going to call him Mr. Fake Weights.
Brad Castleberry?
No.
Oh my goodness! What a call out!
Dude, bro. The amount of times he's been called out.
All right, I'm not going to
say
Athlete and X. So Athlete and X, they're not going to say bad stuff about them. They're alright.
I think they're a great resource, but
they're great
with
resources.
anybody on social media.
Yeah, they're better resources.
With anybody on social media, everyone's wrong.
He's a big believer in the rule of thirds. Or he talked about it, which is splitting your plate into 3 sections, which is one, taking out the different macronutrients, carbs, vegetables, and protein.
Now, just to add on this real quick, because it's something very important with nutrition that we didn't add on yet, the breakdown of calories with nutrition's fat or with macronutrients.
Back to that, it depends.
No, not that. With calories in macronutrients, fats are 9 calories. Carbs are 4 calories, and protein. That's just
944.
That's something we should have mentioned in the beginning, but just so that it's in the video, I just want to
944. Think of it that way. That's what I remember. 944. 944. 9
fats, 4
carbs and protein. Fat, carbs and protein. 944.
I just wanted that
for the convert.
for the conversation.
It's not a huge.
Just so that it's in there for people that aren't aware.
That should be a general thing.
Yeah, but a lot of people in the audience are beginners and don't know that kind of stuff.
But
so
it's good to know because you can kind of debunk, because something about the FDA is a lot of dudes kind of lie about what's on the nutrition label, especially if it's a certain percentage. They can round it down or round it up, and that's just them. And not only that, there's a certain percentage of certain things that is allowed in food, like feces of rat and feces of other animals and stuff like that. I'm not going to get into that because we're about to get canceled. But back to what I was saying, that rule, it's like a meathead rule. A meathead rule, I'm going to call it. Reason why it's a good general basis of having enough vegetable. Yeah, the rule of
thirds is like a calisthenic rule.
You can't really, because that's another thing that it depends. You can't really give a general breakdown of stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you said that earlier. It depends. You can't give a general breakdown because it depends
on
your goals, your body, and
And that's not what I'm trying to debunk. So I do something like that. Reason why is that I like vegetables, guys. I like vegetables. And if I can get them in, the nutrients, I love them. So that's why I always, I tell people just get a little preferences on how you eat. Try that out. Split your plate into thirds. Have a little protein, have a little carbs, a little vegetable. It's just a general thing. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not saying that you really need to do that every meal. It's just saying it's a good ballpark of, having a little vegetables, having a well-rounded meal pretty much.
Yeah.
Vegetables, carbs, and protein. Every nutritionist will tell you that.
Definitely.
I wish I was like that.
Huh?
I think that's the first time I've had broccoli and like.
Yeah. Wow.
I had chicken, broccoli, and rice.
So
Yeah,
funny.
but
The good stuff. What kind of rice did you have?
Just regular jasmine rice.
Jasmine?
that was good. But yeah, you need to have a lot of leafy greens and vegetables though.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. That's where you can get a lot
That's
of
where you get
nutrients
most of your
and potassium and
micronutrients.
stuff, macronutrients, even minerals too sometimes.
Yeah.
But going back to that, how I feel like we should end it off in how we all eat.
Yeah.
So that's
what I was
where I'm
gonna
trying
say.
to pick up on what I'm trying to say.
Right.
So my diet is around a certain schedule, certain key nutrients, especially insulin spiking. I'm a big believer in certain
Definitely.
timing of certain foods to spike up insulin or spike up nutrients when I need it.
Yeah, let's definitely have a second episode.
Yeah,
where
let's
we
have a
talk
second
about that
episode
kind
and
of
stuff
but
like
we'll
that.
Finish off with our diet in general.
Yeah, but overall, I try to stick to somewhat of the rule of thirds. Reason why it's just a simple meathead way of doing it. So it makes sure
Keeps
that I
you
have
consistent.
Yeah, it keeps me consistent. Make sure that I have certain nutrients already in my body. But I play around too on making sure I have enough micronutrients, macronutrients, different non-essential vitamins, essential vitamins as well. Making sure I have everything that my body needs at certain times there. That's my diet.
Definitely.
And it's kind of like following the vertical diet pretty much.
Yeah.
I follow a lot of stuff from there and all my little changes here and there.
Yeah.
That's just how I do it.
Yeah. I go 40-40-20.
Yeah, you
Higher
mentioned that
protein.
earlier.
I usually do 1 gram of protein per body weight.
Yeah.
So like I'm 200 right now, so I try to
200
get in
grams.
200 grams.
That's a good rule, though. I
yeah.
think that's a good rule
It's just-
for most people.
It's just good.
If you have more than that, then it's just excessive.
Yeah, like when
that's
people have
something
like
that's been
300, like
You're gonna be in the
it's,
bathroom
first of all,
for a
that's not
while.
even. That's like it'll.
Not even
Your
that.
body's
Your
not gonna
liver
absorb
enzymes
that.
will like I know somebody whose liver enzymes were lifted because they had too much protein and
Yeah.
they had a liver issue because of that.
Mhm.
So I try to keep it as like moderate as possible with protein and carbs, and then fats. I don't really typically. I don't know. I feel I function better off of with just protein and carbs.
Yeah,
a
less
little
fat,
bit of
yeah.
fats here and there, like avocados and stuff.
Okay.
Healthy fats.
Obviously, you gotta
From-
have
yeah.
all three, but
I have to.
that's a
because
40,
if I don't,
40, 20.
if I don't, then I won't function. And
Yeah.
I usually typically do my highest carb meal before working out.
Yeah.
Always.
Mhm.
Always. Because I perform way better when
And that's
I do that.
that's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about, insulin
Yeah.
spiking.
Like,
that's
because
big one.
I've noticed, like, when I've done, like, smaller meals, like 2 eggs and, like, a rice cake, like, you're going to be, like, literally starving.
Wipes, yeah.
And your workout's going to be terrible. So that's basically kind of, like, what I do.
Mhm.
Mine's pretty open. Nothing like extremely terrible. Like I stopped doing caffeine, like high caffeine.
Do like a clean eating kind of thing.
Huh?
Kind of like a clean eating kind of thing.
No, it's just like it's more just like an open thing. Clean eating. I don't.
Nothing
Like
like
intuitive
fast
eating
food.
kind of
Yeah.
almost?
Yeah, just like go off of
Yeah.
like
Like
how I
whatever you
feel.
feel like
Yeah, I
eating,
also
what you
I
want.
also try and eat to what I'm gonna train either the next day or in the day.
Definitely.
Like you
Yeah.
said, I only like training or performing on an extremely full stomach.
Yeah.
That's the only way I like to train. I learned that from Eddie Hall, and I've been doing it for the last 5 years.
That's the strongman rule.
It's like that is the
Yeah.
strongman rule.
That's
Train
what
on
it is.
a-
You get it when
on
you
a
need it.
Open on a
Get it when you
heavy
need it.
stomach.
yeah,
big thing.
Eddie Hall doesn't train unless he has 1,000 calories within like 10 minutes before.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
like-
that's literally.
Yeah, so,
like,
like,
he goes to
that's-
the restaurant, gets like 10 pancakes, and then goes and eats.
So that's how I like training. It feels the best.
Yeah.
I feel fine. Like everything's
That's how you
chilling.
get the most fueled. If your
Yeah.
stomach
That's
can
true.
handle
The
it.
other things too is like you can also have like I like having like snacks in between workouts now. It's like you have a banana or you have like the intra stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Like something that's
definitely.
something that just keeps you like
Rice Krispie treats.
into it. Yeah. Rice Krispie treats,
Yeah.
a little bit of peanut butter, call it a day. Things like that. But I'm trying to stay away from like I haven't had soda forever.
Oh yeah. Me
This is the
neither.
first energy drink in like 6 weeks,
Mhm.
and I
That's
probably
not soda.
will not.
Come
Have another one.
on.
And I
Another
probably
6,
won't. Yeah, I'm
That's
probably gonna be
dopamine.
done with these because yeah, this is drugs. So I want to not go back on these. Hopefully after today, I don't have a craving for them. But
Fine, it's all right. I'll have these all by myself.
There you go.
Yeah, I might have one like once a week, like nothing crazy.
That's not a bad suggestion.
I'm gonna finish this probably tomorrow.
I do like the rule that I have. I like to have red meat every other day, stuff like that. Carbs, try and keep away from pasta because pasta hurts my stomach from football and stuff. I try and keep away from dairy because dairy also hurts my stomach from football.
Who eats dairy, anyways?
Yeah,
Almond milk for the win.
yeah. And,
Oh Lord.
well,
Ugh, I
that's
feel
it.
attacked
It's
today.
very open.
You're so attacked. No caffeine, no dairy. Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, no, because dairy from football, like, dude, it was when I was in football,
Obliterate.
we
the
would
point.
go.
Yeah, it has to.
Yeah.
Just go.
That's
So-
the point.
So
It has to do with your stomach.
Yeah, my
basically.
senior year when I was when we played football, we used to go out 4 times a week. 2 of the weeks or 2 of the days we would go to Miss Walker's and it was just insane.
yeah.
But prior to that, one of the days we were at someone's house and it was just like, all right, I'm gonna have like a whole pie. I'm gonna go.
Pizza.
Yeah.
I
Dude,
remember
that. What's it called? It was a whole pie. It was loads of chicken, loads of fries. Dude, it was literally eat as much as you could, then go to Miss Walker's and eat more.
Then
So
play
it's like,
a game the next day.
and that's how I performed the best. I honestly like that. I
works.
performed the best, the fullest.
Yeah.
But 2 of the days of the week, it was a giant. It was probably about this and a half of a milkshake, and it went down. And it felt great. But like afterwards of football, after I stopped, completely felt sick. So since then, I haven't really been like having a high amount of dairy because I think from football it ruined it, and then the pasta too. It's like having pasta before a game like for 12 weeks is like all of a sudden it like screws with your brain and your stomach, and you're like, I do not want
There's
that.
bacteria in your stomach that
Doesn't want it.
Yeah, they can. Sometimes you can handle something for so long, and then it comes to a point where your bacteria is like, all right, let me just not have this anymore, and let me just make you feel hell.
Yeah, the other thing too is that like when I was in football, it was probably close to 4,000 calories like a day.
Yeah.
And it was just like having that, I was still like 220. Like I never because I knew as a lineman, like the players that I was going to go up against were like 260 all the way up to 300 pounds. And I was 220. I was a small guy. So I was always trying to gain weight so I'd have the 4,500 calories a day. And what's it called? That's kind of just how I rolled. But afterwards, I had to cut back and go.
No cameras no more.
Just talking.
Yeah.
We're almost done. So
Yeah, so we'll just finish with Are you done with your thought there?
yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Any final remarks?
We've been going on for a while, so I'll finish with what I eat on a general day. I pretty much eat the same thing every day except for dinner. So I do breakfast. Like I said, I do like eggs and potatoes, which I'm getting bored of. So I started doing some different stuff. But throughout the day, I have like usually 2 or 3 lunches. But it's the same thing every day. It's glorious though, dude. I love this meal. I do Mexican beef and rice.
I see all that.
Love it.
Yeah.
But I put cheese.
Hey,
Mexican food
just
is not
kidding. Come on.
But then
Chill.
I put
I'm a Ramirez, bro. Chill out.
I know. You should remember.
I can pull
George
whatever card I
Lopez.
want. George Lopez.
Oh Lord.
But I do cheese. I do the Mexican beef and rice, cheese, mango salsa has been my favorite thing
That's
for the
fire.
past few weeks. It's awesome. And I do pineapple hot sauce. It's Hank's sauce, which is a New Jersey
good.
company.
So
Love Hank's sauce. My favorite one before I ran out was the honey habanero one. That one was
That's
my favorite too.
Yeah.
But that's what I do
Might be a good
basically
one.
every day for lunches, and then dinner is whatever we're having for dinner, and then at the end of the day I have some snacks, and I still do a cup of heavy whipping cream at the end of my day. Puts me to sleep, and it's straight fat calories. It's awesome. I love it. It makes me so strong too. It feels so good.
Yeah, nice. Well, I feel like we should do another episode
On nutrition.
Yeah,
And
more
so-
We
on
need
like,
Mr. Range of Motion now.
Yeah,
for the
we'll
second
bring
one.
we'll
Yeah,
do
we'll
it
bring-
inside, dude. We'll go on the big table inside.
Let's bring.
circle.
We'll bring in Mike.
Oh,
Let's do this for next one. Let's bring Mike. Let's all come together. Let's talk about supplements, meals.
Creatine.
Let's talk about supplements, debunk some, and just food. Food,
I gotta come a little bit more.
And let's actually have food that time.
Yeah, so
let's actually bring food.
I brought food, but I ate it. I didn't want to eat
Yeah,
it.
you ate it before. These two brought food last time. It took 10 years to
Whoa,
do
whoa,
it.
whoa. I'm going to get food after this.
I'm actually going too.
All right, so
Surf taco?
we'll finish off.
Oh, surf taco. Let's
We'll
go to surf
finish
taco.
off with that because these boys need to go to work, so
starving.
and need food.
Let's go to surf
So,
taco.
Peace out, boys.
Till next time on the Iron Chapel podcast. Once
The
again, we're
service
here
providers.
with Ninja over here, Ray is our special guest today, and Mario.
You're
Thank you for
Instagram.
having me, sir. Appreciate it.
Yep. We'll see you guys all
All
later.
right, see you guys next week.